Elden Ring Nightreign can be super fun and extremely rewarding, but it can also be very frustrating and a bit of a nightmare experience if you play it the wrong way. So in this video we'll be going over 7 things you should avoid to improve your runs and just get way more out of the game. Number 1 is killing pointless enemies for runes. So you should generally only clear the first enemy camp when you start your run to get level 2, and after that you mostly just want to clear POIs by beelining it to the boss in the area and kill it quickly, before then moving on to the next location. Good POIs to do early day 1 will be encampments, churches, small castles and ruins. So basically avoid killing all smaller mobs or enemies unless you want to quickly charge your ultimate art up before a bigger fight. Don't be embarrassed to just use your first few runs to learn those POIs and how to dash to the boss the quickest way. For example, churches usually have a hole in the ground you can fall into to get to the boss, and when a castle gate is closed you have to enter through the cellar and then run all the way up to where the boss will be. Castles will also have a map that shows scarab and gear containers, which will give you extra places to stop by whilst rotating through the map.
Hello.
After you've gained some levels during day 1, you could also do a mine boss or an Everjail boss. Everjail bosses on day 1 will have less HP too, but you will need a stone sword key to fight them. Our second thing to avoid is wanting to sprint to all the churches on day 1. A tip you may see often is going to churches first to increase your healing flasks. However, we'd advise prioritizing bosses in POIs instead, and then making those quick stops at a church if it's nearby to pick up an extra flask charge. So avoid sprinting long distances whilst ignoring other areas just for one extra flask, since this will lose you time and valuable level ups. During day 1 you can usually pick up 1 or 2 on the way and save the rest for the second day. Next up, another mistake players make is not picking up elemental affiliations for the final bosses. When selecting a run you will see the boss's weakness. On the map, encampments and ruins will have an element next to them, and this indicates where you can find weapons and items with that boss's weakness. The elements will not only do extra damage but can also stun the final boss out of some pretty devastating moves. Then we have the mistake of only picking up items you'll use as your active main weapons. Now in Nightreign, items give bonuses even when they're just sitting in your inventory. If an effect has a red hand symbol, it means you do need to wield it for it to take effect, but if not, these bonuses will really help you out. Our fifth thing to avoid is clearing the big central castle too early on. This location contains many strong bosses that are difficult to take down on day 1, but with the rest of the zone getting smaller over time, we don't want to miss out on everything else before it's too late. So a good rule to follow is to start in the outer sections of the map and move in a circular motion, clearing bosses in POIs and picking up scarabs or church flasks along the way, and then saving the castle for the second circle on the second day. Moving on, and another big mistake people make is when they're reviving teammates during boss fights and not juggling boss aggro whilst doing so. If someone goes down, you don't want to blindly run at your down teammate with 2 players, as the boss will follow an attack, likely messing up the revive. So instead, don't panic and keep looking at the boss. If it attacks you, focus on dodging and staying alive whilst your other teammate can get the revive off on your down buddy. If instead it's focused on your other teammate, now it's your turn to go for the revive. Obviously this will naturally depend on the players you're partnered up with. If you're playing with friends, this should be fairly easy to communicate. If you're playing with randoms though, good luck. Speaking of playing with randoms, this brings us to our last mistake, which is not marking where you actually want to go. Generally speaking, you're going to want to stick together to burst down bosses and get their loot, but not marking where you're going will cost your team unnecessary extra time, and time is levels in this game. You want to show others where you're going and follow your teammates' markers too, as this will make your runs so much more efficient and enjoyable at the same time. If you find a great item for a teammate, you can ping this by holding the pickup button and pressing left stick. You can also use this to ping your current location too. If you follow other players' markers, you can also add helper markers by highlighting things like spirit springs from match reversal. So now you've followed these tips so far, you should have better weapons, more levels, and hopefully have had a smoother experience so far too. And this brings us to a few extra tips for day 2. Now you should be strong enough to take down the bosses found in jails, field bosses you spot along the way, mines will have a boss that can drop a weapon upgrade smithing stone, and now you can pick up any leftover church flasks you might have missed in day 1. Finally, this is the perfect time to clear the castle in the center of the map we spoke about earlier. Enter it from below to reach a special chest with a power up and kill as many enemies as you have time for. Whilst these enemies don't have a boss's health bar, they do drop a good amount of runes as well as some extra power ups. So you should be able to reach level 7 or 8 by day 1 and level 14 or 15 by day 3. Now you can find and use elements to weaken final bosses and upgrade your weapons along the way too. As this is a roguelike, you'll learn more as you play more, as this is the nature of this type of game. But hopefully these tips in this video will help you out sooner so you can really get stuck into the fun stuff. Have fun, fellow Nightfarers, and check out our website for more specific builds, boss guides, class tips and more. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.